Hey, what's up, guys? It is Rapmark here. Doing the review for the up and come, or not the up and coming, but the recently released Cocaine Bear, which came out this weekend. And this was a fun ride. I'm not gonna lie. This was at it's one of those movies that is completely absurd. It but it knows it's absurd. It doesn't take itself seriously. It is based on an actual story in which a bear, like, yeah, it's this crazy story. But anyway, it is based on a true story, except for the fact that instead of killing a bunch of people, the bear probably killed no one, and they have no idea what happened in the time that it had ingested cocaine that was thrown out of a plane, and it's death from an overdose. Um, but yeah, this was. I knew this was going to be a fun one, um, just because of like again, I did a reaction to the trailer and just how absurd it is. So many people did trailer reactions, and a few people have done movie reviews on it. But unfortunately for this movie, the thing that kind of holds it back from being like actually really great is the fact that it just feels so overstuffed. I mean, in this one, it has the mistake that, and I think I've said this before in like Godzilla movies, modern Godzilla movies, where it's just like you're not dealing with your titular character. You have all these subplots with human characters that I'm kind of not interested in. To be sure, I mean, I can get having two, three, maybe four. This thing has like seven or eight, and I'm just like, it was distracting. I wanted more more of Cocaine Bear. And don't get me wrong, this thing definitely has some payouts. Like there are some really bloody kills. They do not skimp on the gore at all. Um, Unlike Megan, which came out earlier this year in January, I believe, this one is rated R, and it definitely shows it. There's drug use, there's violence and gore. I think the only thing that's not really displayed is like nudity. But yeah, it was it was well put together. I mean, obviously, this you could tell that the bear was CGI, but it wasn't terrible. Again, like it was a fun story. I just wish they hadn't included so many like human side stories, which you know eventually meshed in together into this whole cumulative like thing, and it's just like I don't care. This is not what I'm here for. I'm here to see a bear high off cocaine doing ridiculous stuff and killing people in really really bloody gruesome ways. So again, this, oh gosh, I want to talk about like some of the scenes, but I mean I can't obviously, um, because it's stuff that needs to be in spoilers. So anyway, um, I did like the bear, and that was the thing that I liked. There were a couple of side characters that I was kind of like, that I think, I don't know if I would have wanted them to build it upon it, because I mean, all these side stories are still just completely ridiculous. But there were ones that were a bit more endearing in it. I mean, you have I don't know his actual name, but Ice Cube's son, essentially. Um, he's in this as a drug dealer, and then his friend, who is who the hell? Oh, there we go. Eldon, Caleb, and so the person who played Solo, uh, on Solo, Han Solo in Solo. So, uh, those two I actually did enjoy. Um, I mean, it was still ridiculous, kind of cringy in some respects, but it was still fun. I mean, there's some situations that are just completely out there. Um, and yeah, this is Ray Liotta's actual last film. He died shortly after filming. Um, so a nice little send off to him. And it does have something in the credits saying, in remembrance of Ray Liotta. So that's super fun. Um, I mean, fun probably isn't the best way to look at it. It's not, but it is super cool. It is super cool that this is his last going out. You have a fairly large cast. You have essentially eight eight people, which I'm just like, I don't know why you had so many people. There, like, again, you could have cut it in half, had three or four people. Uh, but yeah, I mean, one of the main characters is like Carrie Russell's character, who plays like this mom. I'll get into later, and it's just like, most of these people, like, I know them as either their real names or who they've played before. I don't remember anyone's name in this movie. Like, they're just so forgettable, and it just felt way too packed. And I mean, I guess that's what they were going for. Unfortunately, it just felt very distracting. Um, the parts with the bear again were the best. There were some side stuff that was also very memorable and very fun, but for the most part, it just felt overstuffed, and that I think was the biggest failure of this movie, unfortunately. So, what would I actually give this film? Um, I'm gonna give it a 7, to be honest. This again really was a good film. Any time that the bear was on screen, it is just it's so ridiculous, and that's where the movie gets really good. But unfortunately, again, it gets broken up, like the pace. It never feels like it run like there is a point in the film, which I'll get into in spoilers, where it feels where this film is really driving at like full speed ahead, and I'm just like, I'm all about it. This is great, but it doesn't stay. All these weird side stories are just, they distract so much from it, and they cut up the pacing of this film, and it ruins it from really reaching greatness. Even though I did have fun with this film, I do think it is a fun watch, very much above average, but it was just too broken up by, again, subplots, which I really didn't care about, for the most part. So anyway, yeah, 7 out of 10 for this one, guys. one that I could say you could probably wait until it's on a streaming service. But if you're into this kind of thing, the dark humor, very violent type things, uh, this might be worth a watch for you. So, unfortunately, it was not as good as I wanted it to be, but it still was entertaining. So, anyway, I think I will cut this to an end, and I will be back in a little bit with the spoiler section. So, I'll see you then, guys. Hey guys, it is Rapmark here. So, back with the spoiler section of this. So, honestly, going like to show you the type of sort of humor and um, story this kind of has, it's kind of necessary to go through like these side stories, which is unfortunate, but where we go. So, I mean, we start out, with this drug dealer who is dropping a shipment of cocaine from the plane and tries to parachute out with a drug-filled duffel bag, knocks himself unconscious, and falls to his death. And there's just cocaine everywhere. And that's literally how we start off. Um, we so first story, like side story, you have these two hikers. They're getting ready to get married, and they're talking about everything. The guy is played by the guy who played Tormont in Game of Thrones. Um, Man, he looks very small, but small compared with how he did in there. But then again, he was always wearing a wool sort of clothes in that, so maybe he just looked bigger. But I mean, but yeah, super fun. They're talking, and they're talking about the marriage, what they're gonna name their kids, if it's a boy, if it's a girl, and then they get into a little bit of a fight because the only thing he got to choose for the wedding was the band, and he's kind of upset that his brother wasn't chosen to play because he kind of stinks, and but they get over it, and then they see this bear that's kind of rubbing itself on these trees. And they're looking at it through a camera. The bear suddenly notices them, and then it just kind of disappears, and it just comes right on him, uh, tears the girlfriend apart, the guy's fiance apart, uh, and yeah, that's how we start. He runs off, and you don't know how he gets away, but yeah. So then you have uh, Dee Dee, who is the daughter of Carrie Russell's uh, character, who is a nurse. But anyway, she wants to go to the falls to, paint the falls with her mom. But her mom has a new boyfriend and wants to take them both out to Nashville for that weekend. And yeah, and her daughter just kind of freaks out about that, and uh, skips school with her best friend Henry, and they go out, and Henry's just kind of like he's a very like doesn't care about much. His his father knows that he skipped school. He encourages him to skip school. Never packs him lunch, It just really just a fucked up situation. Um, but yeah, they go off, and he's being very rational. It's just like, why are you doing this? And yeah, then they go off, and these two kids probably have the most screen time of any. Well, at least Henry does. He has the most screen time of any character in this. But I mean, it's spread between so many that none of them really have a time to breathe, and it's kind of messy. But yeah, so they go out and they find this bag of cocaine. It's kind of open, and he's just like, "Yeah, I do this all the time with my friend." And then she's just like, "How do you do it?" It's just like, "You eat it." He takes a spoon. She takes a spoon, eats it. It's just like, bleh. And then he eats it. It's like, bleh. Just like, oh my gosh. And I would have figured it would have affected them more, but whatever. The bear comes by and scares them away. But yeah, it is after the freaking after the cocaine. Like it is just constantly eating this cocaine, which in itself is ridiculous. Like at one point you see it eating an entire brick of cocaine, just like gah gah gah, and it just eats it. Just like if that actually happened, that bear would be so dead. But yeah, she runs off. It doesn't explain how he gets away. Just the trail kinds of the trail. It just kind of trails off the shot. And then next you go into the ranger thing. That's where you meet the ranger. I forget what she's called. Oh, Margot Martindale. There we go. But yeah, she has a crush on a someone who's coming to check the park, yeah, the wildlife thing, and so she's got really expensive cologne and lipstick, and she's done her nails, and it's it's a little silly. Um, but yeah, so anyway, there's that, and then you go to St. Louis. So Sid, played by Ray Liotta. Man, does he look old in this, but still surprisingly good. So he is talking to his fixer, David, I don't know, David, whatever. It's played by Ice Cube's son, um, and so Sid's son, he's abandoned his job. He's kind of sad because his wife died of cancer, and so he has to have David go get him. And then after all that, they have to go. But yeah, so I don't know what his son's name is. I'll be looking everywhere through this. But anyway, so he has essentially left his son in the care of his grandfather, who's just like, I ain't about this. He's kind of a dick. But yeah, so he has David go try to talk to some sense into him. And then when that doesn't work, it's just like, okay, you two need to go to this forest and this mountain and go find the cocaine. And so they go. And then you have the cop who finds the original drug dealer like dead, and some bags of cocaine, and he's just like, I'm gonna go find this cocaine, and he goes by himself. But he has a dog. He actually wanted a dog more like a Labrador to play fetch with, but he gets like this really fancy type tiny dog. And yeah, you have that, and then you have the sort of this deputy that he works with, who's watching the dog, and he thinks he can trust her, but no, no. It turns out later you find out she is on Sid's payroll, and yeah, so it gets kind of a bit ridiculous. So anyway, they all end up at this station. So uh, David gets into a fight with the, what is it called, the Duchamps gang. So it's three delinquents who cause trouble in the forest. They're like mugging people, stabbing people, uh, and yeah, they decide that they're going to get into a fight with David, and it's just like, if you know what Ice Cube's son looks like you don't want to mess with this guy. And again, he's looking for, he just beats the shit out of these guys, and they freaking stab him, and he's just like, ugh. So the lead guy, he kind of takes him to where he stashed a bag. It's in a gazebo. Um, and man, it just uh, and yeah, he's being nice to, it, to the Solo. We'll just call him Solo. Again, I am, I did not pick up on really any people's names, and it's, yeah. So forgive me if I struggle with that. Um, and again, Ice Cube's son is just like, whatever. This is dumb. This is stupid. Uh, so they go, and the cop that finds the, he ends up finding the cocaine, and it's up on top. He's already there. That starts a sort of standoff shootout. He shoots David's two fingers off. Not even the consecutive fingers. It's like his index and it's his ring finger. And I'm just like, what? How did they even do that? Oh, it's so ridiculous. Let's see. So, oh my gosh. So we missed a couple things. So, um, the ranger, her boyfriend, whatever, and Kerry Russell's character, they all go off to find. They find Henry. He's in a tree, and then they're attacked by the bear, and the ranger's boyfriend just gets mauled. The ranger gets mauled. There's like a scratch on her ass. It's like, okay. Uh, and then it wanders off. He rolls through a bag of cocaine, climbs a tree. It's just like the humor again. It's just like, it's okay. We're okay because bears can't climb. And he's just like, of course they can. Then what are you doing up here? So anyway, the bear comes. It climbs the tree. It's going after Henry, but then it smells the. But then cocaine. The ranger's boyfriend shakes himself off. A bunch of cocaine goes, and it's like, oh. So it jumps down the tree, climbs up the tree where he is, and then it just mauls his leg and just chews his leg off. And he's just screaming. He's bleeding out. It's so. See, scenes like that are actually really cool. But anyway, yeah. So he falls. His leg falls, and then the bear just starts licking the cocaine off of his body. And Henry and Kerry Russell's character, they wander off to go find Dee Dee. So then we go to the station. This is about the same time that Ice Cube's son gets into a fight with these three ridiculously stupid like gang of teenagers. So the ranger comes in. She's in pain. They're all beaten up. They're bruised and bloody, and calls a paramedic to sort of get the wounded out of there. But then there's like something at the door, and he's just like, it's the bear. And I'm just like, at first I didn't think it was going to be the bear, but no, it turned out to be exactly the bear. And she blasts, misses, kills one of the teens, just blows his head away. You see this big hole. It does not, like, this is the scene right here where this film is just going full speed ahead, and I'm all about the ride. And it's just like, you killed him. Just like, sorry. It was amazing. So anyway, the bear gets on the roof, and they're just waiting. And then the bear, the remaining teen, he's by the front door. The bear's claw just comes through and just like and completely like eviscerates his face. And then that's all you see. So anyway, back to the gazebo. The cop, the sheriff, whatever you want to call him, he gets shot by Sid, and he gets fatally shot. But yeah, the bear comes. So before that, the bear comes. He gives a bunch of coke to the bear. No, that's later. But it comes and it just like passes out on Solo. And, it's like joking, and it's just like, can you breathe? I mean, he's talking, he can breathe. And then it's just like, the thing is a female. And he's just like, how do you know? Because its pussy's on my ear. And it's just like, dude, you're like at his chest. Like if it was, and that kind of humor where they're kind of making a joke work wasn't quite for me, to be honest. Kind of a little overdone, but anyway, the teenager, he runs away, and yeah, this is where once the bear wakes up, the sheriff throws the bag of cocaine and gives it to the bear. So Sid comes up, and it's just like, where's the cocaine? And it gave it to the bear. And that's where you find out that his deputy or whatever is on his payroll and is completely is crooked cop. So, and she manages to live through the entire movie, which I'm just like, why? If there's anyone who should have died or gotten arrested or anything, it should have been her. whatever. But yeah. So where does the? Oh wait, yeah. So the paramedics do show up, and the bear goes back. I guess at some point. Um, I may be remembering this out of order. Hold on, let me see if I can get myself back on track. Okay, no, no. Okay, so again, before this, I missed this. So again, the paramedics do arrive, and it's still the scene that where it's going like full speed ahead. So they arrive. They just see blood everywhere. The ranger's been further mauled, but is still alive. And she's just like, bear. She tries to use the stethoscope because she can't, like, I guess, breathe properly. Um, the other teenager is completely just mauled and eviscerated. The first guy, he goes in, and the bear comes out, and he's just like, we need to leave. And the bear gets on top of him and smashes the door on top of him. It's trying to get to him. The female manages to get the ranger strapped down and into the paramedic, the ambulance, um, and then goes. And then he escapes by tossing a duffel bag, and the bear just goes after it because it associates all duffel bags with cocaine bags now. Um, and yeah, he goes and completely he runs, he makes it just like get out of the way because she's trying to shoot it. You know, I think she does wing it. At least it looks like it. I don't know. But then it is like running like crazy. It is running at full speed. And then the massive just CGI jump into the ambulance. Like the ranger gets tossed out, rolling around because she's strapped in. Her face is essentially turned into ground beef. Uh, the guy, he gets totally mauled to death. And then the female paramedic, she freaks out, loses control of the vehicle, hits a tree, and she just shoots out the window, rolls like a rag doll, and it's just like, yeah, she's dead. The bear gets out, and then it's just like, he goes to chase a butterfly. It's just like, all right, well, this one absurd. Like that is my favorite scene of this movie. It is actually really great and funny. So anyway, so again, after the sheriff dies and Sid and his son, his fixer, goes out, we go back to again Henry and Kerry Russell's character. Apparently, her daughter was dropping pieces of her clothes, pieces of paint, trying to guide her, and she ran like all the way to the other end of this like national park, and found safety in the bear's den, where there's two baby bears, and they too have been doing cocaine, and I'm just, it's, it is what it like. I just go with it. It was funny. It was entertaining. It was so ridiculous, but it's very hyper aware of its ridiculousness. So anyway, then Sid, the corrupt cop, the fixer, and his son is there, solo, whatever. But first, Kerry Russell and Henry, they find Olaf, who survived the first encounter. And then you hear later, like, the bear gets to Olaf, and you see him later, like, his face is all, like, ripped off, and it just looks really, just so vicious. This, like, parts like that are what made this movie worth going to see. That's what I'm going to say about that. So, anyway, they all arrive. And Reba, she leaves. She wants to leave because she's not about the killing of like two baby cubs and whatnot. She just wants to leave, and yeah, she manages to make it out alive somehow. Anyway, they go out. They're at the falls, and that's where they see again Kerry Russell's character Henry and Dee Dee, and he's gonna go kill them, make sure there's no witnesses, work this out, whatever. But then there's the bag of cocaine which he has them try to get, and eventually the cubs just start attacking, nipping his ankles, and he just cruelly like bangs one of them. It's just like ah, and it's just like that's so mean. But yeah, Mom Bear comes back. And he manages to shoot the bear. It falls down, and you think it's dead. But anyway, Gary Russell, Dee Dee, and Henry, they leap off. And then his son and his fixer, they all leap off together because they're very good friends. But he gets his fixer before he can jump. And then he tries to grab the duffel bag of cocaine. And a brick falls and it explodes and it goes into the bear's nostril and it's alive again. And it gets up and it slashes his stomach where his intestines are pouring out. And then the younger bears, they start eating it. And yeah, it's nasty. But anyway, David and Solo, they're swimming. He's bleeding to death. And it so happens that Kerry Russell, again, she's a nurse. So she goes and she fixes him up. They all get away. And later, towards the end, you see, all the people who have made it. The female cop gets away, which I don't know why. I mean, she should have been one that died for all the crap that she put the poor sheriff through. And she left a dog in the car. Are you kidding me? Never leave a dog in the car. What's up with that? But yeah, she grabs the dog, the sheriff's dog that she's watching, leaves it in the car. God damn, that is so messed up. I didn't even think about that again until I was doing this again. That is so messed up. Gives it to Sid's son, just like, here you go, whatever. And he's going to give it to his son. Drives off. And then Dee Dee is like, all right, I'll go to Nashville this weekend with you and your boyfriend. And then Henry walks back with them. You see a bunch of dead bodies as they walk off. But anyway, it's just like, how the hell is this going to work for David and Solo? Because the reason why their father was doing this is just like, this is $100,000 worth of cocaine, and the cartels are gonna be pissed at me. They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill my family over this. It's just, and yeah, I it's just dropped, but it's whatever. It's still a bunch of fun, but it is absurd. I mean, it is meant as a dark comedy and a violent one at that. But yeah. But anyway, there. Then you have a couple of mid-credit scenes where you show the surviving teenager of the gang hitchhiking to New York with a duffel bag of cocaine, and it's just like, sweet. So there's that, and the second one giving shows Solo giving Bob's dog to his son, and then but the dog consumed David's, whatever his name, his fingers that he had that he was going to reattach, and that's it. So kind of a spoiler for maybe a second one. I don't know. But like I said, this one, it was ridiculous, it was absurd, and when Cocaine Bear was on there, it was really going really well. The problem again was there were so many side plots. Like, I had to explain the entire spoiler section as side plots because they just took so much out of the time that I wanted to rather spend with the Cocaine Bear. So yeah, that was the big thing that dragged this thing's back again. Again, 7 out of 10. I think that's it for me for right now. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. See ya.